Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Minnesota Camper. I am John from Hilltop Camper and RV, and really excited today because, of course, a lot of times we spend time telling you about campers, and but the focus of this show is really about anything to do with Minnesota camping for Minnesota campers. And of course, when you take that camper somewhere, you're looking for something to do. And one of the big things that has really grown a lot in Minnesota recently is mountain biking. Now, while many may not associate mountains in Minnesota, a lot of people do, and a lot more people are and discovering it. And to talk more about that, we bring in a person largely responsible for that. This is Randolph Briley. He joins us. He is the Deputy Director of Outdoor Recreation for Explore Minnesota. Hi, Randolph. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Are you a mountain biker? Let's start with that.
Yeah, I am. I do all the things on a bike that you can do. I mean, there's so many options in Minnesota, even beyond mountain biking, to include road biking and gravel biking and e-biking and you name it. So fat tire biking in the wintertime. So there's plenty of options for us here in Minnesota.
Can you tell us about, again, just kind of talking to the person that had really no idea that you could put mountain and biking along with Minnesota, how
Mhm.
big it is and how big it's gotten, and kind of the growth rate of it.
Yeah, it's really big. We don't have I'm not aware of any studies that have actually quantified the economic impact of it, but anecdotally, just seeing the numbers of people out on the trail, seeing communities that are building new trail, you can tell that there is definitely a increase in interest and use around the activity. Um, so yeah, Minnesota is a fantastic state for it. You don't need mountains to mountain bike. All you need is altitude changes.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes you don't even need that. You can just ride on a straight line, but you usually call that gravel biking. But Minnesota has opportunities all over the state for mountain biking, which is why it's so great about it. Yeah, everybody knows about Duluth and Cuyuna.
Yeah.
Obviously, those are the big ones. Um,
But the Twin
and
Cities actually
yeah,
offer
yeah,
quite a few options, right?
they do. Yeah, Twin Cities is a big one. Just Thea Worth is just to name one of the areas in the Twin Cities. But yeah, Twin Cities is actually the International Mountain Biking Association does kind of a rating levels for mountain biking destinations. And actually they've got a gold level, a silver level, and a bronze level. And the Twin Cities is actually the only area in that I can see right now, except for Wisconsin, and Marquette, Michigan, is the only one with a bronze level. So Twin Cities is considered bronze level by International Mountain
Wow.
Bike Association, which is really awesome. Cuyuna is considered silver level, and Duluth is considered gold. Actually, Duluth is one of only 6 gold rated areas in the entire world, and so that's a pretty big deal for us.
It is pretty hilly over there in Duluth.
Yeah.
Does that just mean better trails? What does that mean, really?
Well, better trails, better or not better, more trails, more
Okay.
types of trails, more access, and those trails are intentionally designed to connect to, say, downtown areas, so it's easy to get on the trail and to, after you're done at the end of the day on the trail, go to a restaurant or a bar or you name it. And
Yeah.
it's the full package basically for mountain bikers. And so if you're looking for a destination to go, Duluth is definitely a top notch spot in the across the entire U.S. People talk about Bentonville, Arkansas, as the
Yeah.
premier United States mountain biking destination, but they're actually silver level.
No
so,
kidding.
so
Oh man.
Duluth is one up them on that.
Bentonville's one of my favorite places for those hills that they have too. So that is really
Mm,
impressive to hear that about Duluth. My
yeah.
goodness. So I mean, we talked about the Twin Cities too. Like I saw Edina for those of you in Edina, think you got to go somewhere to go. There's a trail coming to Edina too. I mean,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And we mentioned you have a big role in this too. What exactly is your role in responsibility to kind of adding to this craze?
Well, I can't take credit for it. I think I help where I can. So, as deputy director of Outdoor Recreation and Explore Minnesota, my role is to help them market the state and the state's opportunities, both to in-state travelers and out-of-state travelers.
Yeah.
And so that's one. I wear two hats actually. I'm also the director of the Outdoor Recreation Industry Partnership, which is the partnership between Explore Minnesota and the DNR and DEED and IRRR to grow Minnesota's outdoor recreation economy. So in that capacity, I try to do what I can to support your mom and pop bike shop or your all the way from your mom and pop bike shop to QBP in Bloomington. We've got Minnesota's got some amazing bike infrastructure when it comes to industry, which is another reason why we have such good opportunities out there, because we do have the QBPs in Bloomington, which is the largest cycling distributor on the planet. You've got Park Tools in Minnesota, which is the largest cycling tool maker in the world. You've got Trek Bikes, which is right over the border over there in Wisconsin, which everyone has heard of Trek
Yep.
before. So it's we had that foundation. We've got that industry foundation in biking, and so that also adds to the amount of opportunities that we have in the state. So.
Just another way to get out there, enjoy the outdoors in Minnesota. And I love the idea you're talking about the different, I mean, people can go do their camping, go
Mm-hmm.
mountain biking during the day, and go hit up the local brewery at night. I mean, I love the idea, man. I just
Yeah,
absolutely love the idea. It's
yeah,
really a
for
great
sure.
thing.
That's the cool thing about Minnesota is that
Yeah,
you can be a multi-sport athlete in Minnesota, and that's what we see a lot in Minnesota. We don't just see a one sport, because Minnesota is a four-season state, and we have so much very geographic regions that there's so many opportunities to be a multi-sport. You could go out to the Cuyuna, the Iron Range area, take your mountain bike out there, take your ATV, go do a day of scuba diving in one of the quarries. You got so many opportunities and options available to you in Minnesota, which is really exciting.
and somebody just starting out to don't necessarily need to own a mountain bike. I guess there's places that rent them and things like that
Hmm.
too. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah, especially in those areas I mentioned. You can find shops in Duluth and Winona and Cuyuna and Detroit Lakes, which has a fantastic spot over there, Detroit Mountain. Um, and so yeah, you don't have to have a mountain bike. I don't. A lot of times I rent
hmm
bikes
hmm
because especially the full suspension mountain bikes can get fairly pricey.
Sure.
And so I don't own a full suspension, but I do like to ride downhill. And so when I do that, I can just go to the shop, rent one for a day. And you can do that here in the cities too. They rent them at Theodore Worth, I know, out there as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for that.
What's a good resource to find out where all those trails are?
Oh man, you could either go to Explore Minnesota's websites. Obviously, we've got some awesome articles on the best trails to mountain bike, and so that's a good first place to stop for that. There's you can check out IMBA's website. I think they've got a listing of trails throughout the nation.
What's IMBA?
Um, IMBA is the International Mountain Biking Association. So,
Okay.
yeah, they've got a good spot. But I would highly recommend, and I'm a little biased, to Explore Minnesota's website as your
Sure.
first stop.
Well,
If you
this
want to
is a
learn
show
more.
about Minnesota, so let's do it.
Yeah.
And so you said you do all the things and you know all these
Mhm.
spots. I've just rented my first mountain bike. I've gone to the Explore Minnesota website. I'm on that first trail. I'm getting ready to go, or at least getting ready to pack up the car and go.
Mhm.
What do I need to know that first day? Like
Well, it's kind of like,
etiquette,
yeah, it's kind of
like
like
stay
skiing.
alive kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mountain biking can be a lot like skiing, particularly if you're in a spot like Cuyuna, where you'll have the green trails, the blue trails, the black trails. So if you're starting out, you probably want to stay off the black trails.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Bunny hill. We're looking for the bunny hill.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for whether the trail is single or double track or one way or both ways, because you don't want to be riding up the wrong way.
Hmm. Hmm.
Obviously, that can get dangerous. But aside from those, I mean, there's not that many rules. You move out of the way if someone's coming up faster than you. Move out. Be nice and move out of the way for them so they can ride by. And yeah, it's just your basic etiquette that you see in a lot of these activities, whether it's cross country skiing or downhill skiing or biking. So um, yeah, and I would recommend if you're starting out and you can travel, that you would start. Cuyuna is probably the best place to just start,
Good to know.
because it has all the levels you can imagine. It's got from green all the way up to black. And it's just easy. You park there in town. You can park either in town or on at the trailhead and hop right on and spend the entire day and never ride the same trail twice. So yeah, that
Shout
would.
out Cuyuna Brewing Company in
Yeah,
Crosby, by the way. Yeah, you
I'm
know,
sure they get a lot of business
I
from
know they do. They got a
bikers.
lot of
Yeah,
bikes rolling through that town. That's for sure.
yeah.
In Crosby, that's great stuff, Randolph. I know you got a podcast. Plug it here for us.
Y- Yeah, Explore Minnesota More. It's a podcast that we have. It's a collaboration between Explore Minnesota and the DNR, and we talk a lot about just the outdoor recreation ecosystem in Minnesota, about the personalities, the opportunities, the events that happen. So it's pretty broad. And if you're interested in outdoor recreation in Minnesota, I would recommend it. You can just go to Explore Minnesota More. Type that into Google, and you'll be able to find it, or you can find it on Spotify or iTunes or you name it. So,
That's
um,
outstanding.
mhm.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your work.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm glad to be on, and always happy to talk about mountain biking.
Cool. Randolph Riley joins us from Explore Minnesota. I'm John. This has been Minnesota Camper. Again, we are looking for your ideas, things to cover like this. It doesn't always have to be the campers themselves. We're talking about anything that you might enjoy when you're out there camping, and that sounds like an awesome activity to take up, and it's ever growing and more opportunities. And of course, you'll find campgrounds near any one of those places. So we hope you get out there and you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Well, thank you for watching Minnesota Camper. We hope you like it. We hope you participate in it because this is about Minnesota camping for Minnesota campers. We know there's a ton of stuff on the internet about camping, but there's not much out there about Minnesota campers and Minnesota camping. So we're going to do it here. We want you to participate. We want your ideas. It doesn't have to be just about campers that we have at Hilltop Camper and RV. It could be about campfires. It could be about campgrounds. It could be about things to do in different towns that are great for camping at, camp food, parts, maintenance, whatever the case may be. We want to know what you want to hear about. We'd love to tackle those topics. And if you have a really cool experience out camping, maybe you can tell us about that too. Or maybe it's a really cool camper. That'd be kind of fun too. Anyway, we'd love to hear from you here at Minnesota Camper. Thanks for watching.